others, she seemed like an extraterrestrial. She was so distant, entitled, and needy, so lazy that she got a trophy for breathing. Now, the real adults hated Joan. She wouldn't look up from her damn phone. She thinks all her problems are unknown. They'd say, "You've never seen sacrifice, Joan. You couldn't imagine the sacrifices that we've made. Your biggest issues are Snapchat and financial aid. You have one accomplishment, and now you want a parade. Honestly, I'm afraid, Joan. I'm afraid for future generations because they have such low expectations. Is it really you who's going to run the nation? You won a trophy? Well, congratulations. You ruined everything." The adults had a fair point, not going to lie. Joan didn't go above and beyond. She just did what she could to get by. What made her think that she could ever understand their sacrifices? I mean, life is expensive and you have to pay the prices. And Joan's life, well, Joan's life was cheap. So much so that she could practically live through it in her sleep. Had she even felt accomplishments or progression, all Joan does is complain about her severe depression. How she can't sleep at night because some things don't feel right and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. All she does is think about finding a job. She thinks about how her dream was to play Fontaine in Les Miserables, but that won't put food on the table. No, in this economy, that's just not stable. She thinks about how she applied for Stanford and got an admission, but had to drop it because she couldn't afford the tuition. She thinks about how she's graduated, and now she finds herself, well, frustrated. Frustrated about that internship she took, even though a job isn't a guarantee, but for now she has to deal with working for free for a tech startup company that probably won't last until February. She thinks about how her rent is due next May, and then wonders if she'll be able to afford a house someday. All Joan wants is a house and a family, a real job, and not some unpaid tease, the life that her real adult parents were able to slip into with ease. How did they do that? She thinks about how fast she had to grow up, and she wonders if whatever she's become is enough. But the worst part of all, are all the real adults who have the nerve to call her whenever she does something new, unrealistic, and crazy, but when she stays on the path, they just call her entitled and lazy. She thinks about how she doesn't know what's next. She thinks about how all the real adults make fun of her every time she checks a text as if they wouldn't do the same thing. She thinks about her life and wonders if she's really in trouble. Now come on, what would Joan the Millennial know about struggle? Thank you very much.